Hey, what's up, fam? This is Dannielle Johnson with Donut Socialite, bringing you yet another piece of content to help you get your shit together. Today on Donuts, Coffee, and Tech, we're going to be talking about what app I've been using on my Instagram stories to make them pop, and also giving you some strategy on how to get your Instagram stories to get you more attention as a brand. You do not want to miss this episode. Stay tuned. It's going to be a good one. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Donuts, Coffee, and Tech. I'm your host, Dannielle Johnson of Donut Socialite, aka the Dannielle J, aka the girl who likes donuts, aka that one chick that does social media, aka your digital marketing friend. And I wanted to talk to you guys today about how to use Instagram stories to captivate your audience. But first, let me get into a little bit of why I'm doing this podcast, because this is the first episode after a long hiatus, right? So originally I brought out Donuts, Coffee, and Tech so that I can have a platform to conduct interviews on, because I have a background in radio and I really missed interviewing people about what was going on with their businesses, going on with their lives. And I thought that this would be a great opportunity to speak with people about their businesses and see what was going on. But I really couldn't bridge the gap between people's stories and wanting to be an authority in technology. So I took a long time to really try to hash out what this platform would be used for. So in the in-between time, I came up with another kind of mini show called Breakfast on the Go. And what Breakfast on the Go did is served as a 5-minute boost of motivation, since that's what people look to me to do on both my Instagram page and my Facebook page. So I just used it as, basically a way to stay relevant, but also to, serve a purpose of being inspirational. Well, the only problem is I was going through so much of my life that I couldn't find the energy to be motivational to other people, at least not in that form or facet. I was still being myself with my peers and doing things with my friends and family that I always do, which is, speak highly of them, speak highly to them, breathe life into them. But I just couldn't seem to find the energy to come back and do Breakfast on the Go anymore. So I went ahead and shut the doors on that mini podcast. So I've held the space for Donuts, Coffee, and Tech here for maybe 2 years total. So this last year, absolutely nothing went up. And the year prior, I had one interview go up. So now it is my intention and my goal to build consistency with this platform and to really keep it going as far as the things that I'm passionate about, because that's the other thing that I'm really making a goal of mine in my life, is to tap in with those things that really excite me, like being on podcasts, being on radio, having these platforms to talk, whether it's through video or audio or whatever. I really enjoy doing those things. So I wanted to make sure that I stay tapped in on a platform that I actually enjoy. So I'm bringing back Donuts, Coffee, and Tech. This time around, it's going to be centered around all of the dope marketing apps and websites and communities that I've stumbled upon in my 10 plus years of doing digital marketing, with the hopes of helping you guys really kick your game up a notch so that you can go to the next level with all of your efforts. I'm all about making things simple. That's really like my main goal with everything that I do for my clients and myself, is to make it super simple. That way there's no second guessing, and then you can duplicate your processes, right? So Donuts, Coffee, and Tech will be dedicated to marketing, but it's more along the lines of like what apps that I've been using, or the ones that I've been invited to try out, or the websites that I've stumbled upon that are really awesome and haven't had a chance to try out. So this will give me a reason to do that. So that's basically the whole spill on Donuts, Coffee, and Tech, and where it's going this year, 2020. All right, so with this first episode, I wanted to really get into Instagram stories, because I get a lot of different feedback when it comes to Instagram stories, right? So since Instagram rolled out stories, I've been a huge fan. I love this idea of having content that expires, because it kind of creates a sense of urgency with the people who are following you. And especially as somebody who's conducting business through social media, I think that it's really good to have this platform that people can look at, acknowledge, and take action on right now, as opposed to having something that's just living on my feed that can potentially live there forever. So Instagram stories has always been an exciting element of Instagram for me, especially since I come from using Snapchat. I used to be like on Snapchat recording everything around me just for shits and giggles. So now when Instagram rolled out stories, it was like a no-brainer. You just want to hop on there, and all these awesome features that they keep coming out with on Instagram stories is making it even more engaging. Like the fact that you can have live chats, or you can take polls, or you can tag your location. I mean, it's just so many dope things that you can do through Instagram stories. So I'm going to give you today 3 whole tips that you might be overlooking so that you can get your Instagram stories more attention. You want to get more attention through all of your content if you're using Instagram or Facebook or any of these other platforms for your business. So today I'm going to talk about 3 ways that you can actually get more eyeballs on your Instagram stories. But also by the end of this episode, I'm going to share with you what I've been using to make my Instagram stories that much more poppin'. All right, so tip number 1 is going to be consistency. I know you hear it a lot. You see it all over the place. I'm sure you follow 1,000 gurus who talk about being consistent, from the Gary V's to the Pat Flynn's, all the way back around. Being consistent is so important when it comes to Instagram stories because it only lives for such a short period of time, right? So you want to make sure that you're putting content up on a consistent basis. And I know that people say to do it every single day, but I'm going to be realistic. So some people can't put this as a priority every single day. So I'm going to say if you can post once a week, do that. If it's twice a week, do that. Just don't make it once a month and wonder why it's not happening, right? And if you want to get more consistency going all across the board, plan your content out, right? But if you want to really take all of your efforts up to the next level and get seen through your Instagram stories, being consistent is going to be like the number one thing you'll have to put into consideration. Plus, if you think of it this way, Instagram stories only last for 24 hours, and whenever you post them, you're moving further up in the algorithm, right? So posting every day is going to give you a greater chance of being seen than posting once a week. It's the nature of the beast. But if you can only post once a week, that's better than posting once a month, right? So if you need to build your way up to posting every day, do that, because everybody's schedule is different. And then just the habit of doing it is worth building. It's not really worth rushing into right away. And I know that's going to go against what some people are saying right now, but I'm telling you from experience, I would so much rather you not have a panic attack about posting on Instagram every day, as opposed to taking your time, coming up with a content strategy and posting once a week so that you can make sense of Instagram stories and how it fits into your overall branding, then sit up here and just lose your mind because you can't figure out what you need to be posting, and then take random pictures and post it and then get upset when nobody wants to really go to your page and see what's going on, right? So that's number 1. Number 2 is to really utilize all of the other features that exist on Instagram stories, including mentions, hashtags, and locations. So with all 3 of those, they have different impacts on the algorithm. So if you're going to be talking about like your Apple computer or your Nikes or something like that that has a brand that lives on Instagram, make sure you tag them. And the reason for that is because you're going to show up in the feeds of people who are looking for at Apple or at Nike, right? Also, with hashtags, you can use up to 3 without Instagram penalizing your content. So make sure that you use up to 3. That way you can get some momentum going off of that. Your location tags are going to be important as well, because when you post your location, you're going to help the algorithm determine what region needs to see your content first, especially if you're posting from like your local mall. So if you have a Galleria and you post that you're at the Galleria, it's going to help with the algorithm's understanding of how it needs to fit in the priority, right? If you're at the Galleria, more people are at the Galleria looking at content, they're going to post your content up in the forefront because you guys are in the same location. or they're potentially looking for the location that you're at. Now, I would use that one with caution, just because you don't want to have all of your information out there. You do want to remain somewhat private about your location, especially if you are in a bigger city, because sometimes it gets a little crazy. So don't use your exact location per se, but definitely look into using location to increase your post viability, the way that it lives in the algorithm, right? Last but not least, you want to make sure that your stories are in a story format, right? So like with my stories, I try to post really cool things, but I try to do sequences of 3 if I can. That way it can be like a beginning, middle, and end. If you don't necessarily have anything that's a beginning, middle, or end, think about it in its full capacity, how it's going to live in your stories. Will it make sense to somebody if they're looking at it all the way through? Because the other part of the algorithm is that it's checking for how long people are living in your content. So if people are staying on your stories for longer periods of time, you're going to get more priority in the algorithm, as opposed to if people are going on to your stories and just clicking exit right away, right? So you want to make sure that you're posting content that kind of has a flow about it, telling a complete story, whatever that story may be, and make sure that you are coming up with content strategy that allows you to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. Speaking of beginning, middle, and end, let's go ahead and get right into how I've been able to make a night and day shift between what my stories used to look like and what they look like now. First and foremost, let me give a shout out to Joy of Joy Knows How. She actually gave me the keys to the kingdom on this one. I was looking at her stories and I'm just like, yo, this looks amazing. What are you using? Are you like doing videos for a living or what? Because her stories are just always so captivating, and I just love her aesthetic, right? So I'm asking her all these questions and she was like, yo, what you need to do is you need to go download this app called Mojo, because it's going to be able to help you really plan out your content better, but also it's going to help you with making more captivating content, right? So I go get the Mojo app and I'm thinking to myself, like, all right, let's see what this does, because I've seen a million apps before that say that they'll help with making your content look better, but you end up having to do more work than what it's worth. And I download the app. There's a free version and a paid version. The free version actually had a whole bunch of templates that you can use that look really dope. And the paid version, man, I pay for it now and it just unlocked everything, right? And it's been the best $10 investment that I've made when it comes to my content. So one of the things that you notice when you first get in the app is all the different templates. And they have different themes for their templates, so that you can kind of pick and choose like what type of style that you like for your stories. But the part that really gets me going is that I can share my stories from the app. I don't have to save it to my phone, because I don't know about you, but I have limited space when it comes to memory on my phone. So I don't want to bog it down if I don't have to. So the fact that I can actually share it from the app is everything. So I just share everything from the app itself. And then also the other dope thing about it is that they have all these different options to save your branding. So you can save the colors that you want. You can save the fonts that you want. All of your stories that you've created are saved in the app itself. So then you can go back and edit those and duplicate them if you wanted to tell a story, a different story, but with, different words. A different story with different words. If you want to tell a different story, then you can have that option, but with the same style. So there's all these different options in there with the paid version. So go check it out. And I'm not being paid to say this, but go check out the Mojo app. You can get it on any smart device. Go to the App Store, go to Google Play. It's going to change the game for you. And the one thing that I will say, though, is to really get creative with it. You don't have to just stick with what they have in their templates, right? You can add to it, you could take away from it, but really find your own jam with it and take your branding to a whole nother level, because I've gotten so much more interaction and engagement on my stories using this app alone. And of course, I've been able to go to other apps and design things and plug it in. So high resolution pictures are going to really be helpful. So make sure your stock image game is on point, or even just that your branding images is on point. That way you can really plug it in and see a major impact. So Mojo app is everything. Make sure you go get it so that you can go ahead and change the game for your Instagram stories, because the more people stay on that story, the better it's going to be for your brand. And then your call to actions in your stories are going to resonate more, because they're going to say, yo, this person really gets it. They really got my attention. I'm here. I'm buying into it, right? So make sure that you check out Mojo app. And I have a couple of other apps that I'm going to be covering over the course of this podcast. So make sure that you tune in so that we can go over those as well. Let me know, what is your favorite app, or what software are you using to create your Instagram stories? Are you doing anything on the desktop anymore? Or are you doing everything from your phone? I love doing everything from the phone when it comes to social media. That way it already exists there, but different strokes for different folks. Let me know in the comments, and I'll check you guys out on the next episode of Donuts, Coffee, and Tech. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Donuts, Coffee, and Tech. I really want to see you next week. We're dropping another episode next Friday, so do not miss out. Subscribe wherever you're listening to your podcast, and I'll see you next week. All right?